It's time for Goku or Go Home, everyone's favorite show for classical, family-friendly racism. Thank you all for tuning in. My name is Alex, but my friends all call me Crust because I'm noticeably white.
Crust? Who calls you... Do I ever call you that?
Crest?
No, I only
as in the
called you...
toothpaste?
Oh, crust! I thought you meant crust as in, like, crusty. And I am Phoup, the yellow Listerine.
Yellow Listerine? You can't say that! Welcome, everyone. Like I had said, this is Goku or Go Home, our Dragon Ball watch-along podcast. If you're just joining us, this is the third episode. You have a little bit of catching up to do. Essentially what we do here is, I've seen through Dragon Ball a few times now, and Phoup has been watching it for the first time. And every time I'm going to ask this, but are you still enjoying yourself?
Yeah, I'm liking it.
Excellent. This week we are watching through episode 9 through episode 12, and just getting this out of the way right away, next week we're going to be taking a week off because it is Thanksgiving, and I will be out of the state, and I won't be able to record, so Phoup gets to focus on his school studies, and I just get to do nothing but eat and sleep. So why don't we start off this week's episode with episode 9, Boss Rabbit's Magic Touch. This week starts off with the Goku gang riding through a cool mushroom forest. Like, these are some huge mushrooms, and it's an environment that we really haven't seen before. They've been driving since Fire Mountain and the Ox King, and they're almost out of gas, so they must have been traveling for a while. They mention passing through a town prior and not stopping, and immediately that threw me for a loop because Bulma is still in her bunny suit. And they went through a town and didn't stop to change clothes or anything. They just have been riding the entire time.
I mean, I wasn't too surprised that they were still kind of in that setting, you know? The only thing, honestly, that whole episode in the beginning, I just kept looking at all the mushrooms. I actually started taking notes for this episode. That's literally the first thing I wrote. Lots of mushrooms.
It's another one of those things that makes the world a little more fantastical, and we had mentioned in the first episode, like, is this Earth? Is it supposed to be a fantasy world? But, like, no, I think this is just a fantasy world that they call Earth, and one of the things that sets it apart is there's dinosaurs everywhere, and there's giant mushroom forests. We're still in the realms of this is an Earth setting.
Mm-hmm. It's like a mushroom biome.
Mm-hmm. In Minecraft?
Yeah.
Bulma and Oolong kind of get into it and they start fighting, and they're just all over the road. They're whipping in and out around these mushrooms, and Yamcha is, like, way too close from behind. Like, he's trying not to be seen, but he's way too close. He's able to hear Bulma talking to Oolong from his hover car, and he's, like, fawning over her voice, and Yamcha's not a good spy. He might be a good bandit. He's not a good spy.
He's a cool guy so far.
You're still liking Yamcha?
I'm still liking Yamcha.
As these episodes go through, my respect for Yamcha just grows. And I'm still steadfast in my belief that the people who shit on Yamcha all the time have not actually watched Z. Or have only watched Z.
Like yeah, okay.
Because Yamcha does some good stuff.
I guess if I were to ever watch Z, I'd probably go in with a different perspective, obviously, from watching the original.
Well, the problem is, and if I can spoil Z before we even get to it, Yamcha's kind of a jobber. He just kind of he loses to make the bad guys better, you know. Oh, wow, they beat Yamcha.
Okay, I feel like that's not too much of a spoiler, to be honest.
Yeah. You saw Yamcha in his Yamcha hole already. It's fine. But yeah, Puar's confused that Yamcha would compliment Bulma, and he starts to fumble all over himself. He says, did I say pretty voice? I meant that she had a pretty face. No, I didn't mean that. Oh, why did I say that she was pretty at all? And he starts foaming at the mouth. Yamcha's just as down bad as Bulma is.
I feel like when I watch Yamcha act like this, though, I just feel like he's like your typical anime protagonist.
He's the protagonist of his own story.
Yeah.
It was at this point that I noticed that the animation of the hover cars, like weaving around and everything, have been reused twice already. But it's really smooth, so I'll forgive it. Like, it looks really nice how they move and glide around. But they're like, man, this shot was really hard to do. Let's use it twice. Let's get all the mileage that we can out of this.
I wouldn't have remembered that if you didn't bring it up. What caught me was the sound. To me, it sounded more like it didn't sound like that hovering sound. It was like that laser sound that they would shoot out of their hands.
No, it's totally a Gundam sound. Like it goes like
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. Sound design.
They know how to describe it. But I was like, I know I've heard this before.
Yeah, sound design in Dragon Ball and like some of these older animes are always top notch. And I've got this weird sound thing that I can't hear certain registers or whatever very well, but they always like cut through all the bullshit, and I'm just like, whoa, yeah. The gang show up in this cool desert town, and there are people wearing turbans and wraps and stuff. And I like seeing more people from around the world because like it makes it feel bigger. We're not just stuck to little mountain villages. They stop for gas, and the attendant comes out and opens his mouth once, and I had to pause. Like, the second he started talking, I'm like, I gotta write this note.
What'd you write?
In what I can only explain as a more lively Apu from The Simpsons, this guy starts talking, and I just can't believe it. Like, Apu is a stereotype of an Indian man running a convenience store, and Dragon Ball just busts out a gas station owner in a turban and doubles down hard. Like, my guy, we are 4 minutes into this episode. 2 if you don't watch the intro, but I mean, if you're not watching the intro, are you really watching Dragon Ball? I mean, come on. Mystical Adventure? 10 out of 10 intro. Anyway. When I said family-friendly racism, I wasn't joking.
I didn't even bother writing anything down. I knew what they were doing. I just was like, I'll go along with it. It's a big world.
Goku notes that everyone seems to be afraid of Bulma, and she thinks it's just because she's that beautiful and full of herself. The attendant fills up their car, and Oolong tries to pawn off the bill on Bulma, but the attendant freaks out and says, "Oh no, it's on the house." Which is pretty nice for them.
Pretty nice. I knew something was wrong, obviously.
Well, with the title Boss Rabbit's Magic Touch...
I couldn't put it together.
You couldn't put it together yet? Okay.
I couldn't. I was still confused at this point.
Bulma finds a Dino Cap store and does some shopping. And of course, this store owner also has an accent, but it's not as bad. Like, they had one person that was, "Oh, I can really do an accent." And I'm like, no, you really shouldn't. And this other person is like, "Oh, I can kind of do it." And I'm like, yeah, that's better. I do really like how, when presenting her with new capsules, he just hands them to her in a little bowl. Like, they're rolling around and jostling about, and they could totally push the button on the top and set all of them off. Like, it looks like a little dice bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought they were pretty cool. I like to collect little things. But I guess I would love dino caps in real life. Because, like, I like these, I liked collecting Bakugans as a kid.
They totally feel like, or look like they would feel super, like, tactile.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you would push the top and it would make that good, like, click sound.
Mm-hmm.
Just, ooh.
But like, I would really like I have like a little fidget kind of deal going on. So I would love to have one of those things just to constantly click, kind of like a pen.
Yeah, kind of like a pen or like a number counter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be nice. Do they sell those? They should totally sell those. I would buy some. Bulma still doesn't get it as, like, the entire town is running away from her. She's so focused on the absolute monster of a sale that she just had. It was cheaper than cheap. It was free! Yamcha arrives in town at the exact same time as these two thugs in bunny ears. They've got guns and dumb voices. One's very snivelly, like, yes. And the other one's like, if you were mocking someone and you wanted to make them sound dumb, like that. Like,
I was like, is this the voice actor for Shu just trying to fill in another character?
yeah, because I could see that. He's like, oh, yeah, yeah. Bulma gets some new clothes. A very Arabian Nights-esque, like Aladdin. She's got these poofy pants and a little blue vest. And she takes off the rabbit ears and gives it to the shopkeeper, who, again, has this thick Indian accent. And, like, why do all these dudes have Indian accents if they're clearly supposed to just be, like, Middle Eastern? Like,
Yeah.
I'm getting a Saudi Arabia feel. I don't know. The dude asks her if she's not part of the rabbits, and Bulma doesn't know what that is. So he throws her out, and saying that he was playing a dirty trick, or she was playing a dirty trick on him.
I was starting to put the pieces together, but still, like, trying to figure out who these rabbits are.
Like, you know, Bulma had the bunny ears from the suit, and then when the goons come in, that you see the same ears on their hats or helmets. I get it. Bulma notices that nobody's afraid of her anymore as she walks through the crowd, but there's a real dumb looking camel or something in that shot, and I got so distracted. Like, it might not actually be a camel, but it was wearing a real cool fez, and it just had the dumbest expression on its face, and I'm like, is that a camel?
Frick, I might have to go back.
Like, it was real goofy.
I gotta go back. I didn't see it. I like catching those small little things.
Bulma meets up with the others while the nasty gang, the rabbits, shake down an apple merchant. We get a better look at them and their uniform, and I like their uniform. It's like a black military coat with an old aviator helmet, and then bunny ears on top of that.
I couldn't look at them the same. I usually like military outfits, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I could not think of anything positive. I just, you know, that band that they have on their arm? With the kanji. You know where I'm going with this?
Yeah. Like, I made a small note, like, I like their patch, but not their armband. Yeah, we'll just gloss over that one. You know what they're trying to say.
For all I know, it might just say rabbit. I don't know what it says. It might say rabbit.
Let's hope it does.
Yeah.
They tell the merchant that they want their money back, even though they got it for free. So that's how you know that they're bad. They're like, I don't believe you hurt my friend. Yes, he said he wanted his money back. And he's like, oh, but you got it for free.
That caught me off guard. I'm not
Just
gonna
shaking him down.
But I gave it to you for free.
The skinny guy kicks over an old lady and a little boy for crossing their path, and they're really doing a lot of work in this short period of time to make these dopes into bad dudes.
Yeah.
There's the biggest assholes. They notice Bulma and immediately try to skis their way over to her. We get a couple of good deliveries in, hey, pretty lady, how would you like to spend some time with a couple of real men? Yes, maybe.
I mean, they couldn't be wrong, but they couldn't be right either. Because if you look at who Bulma is with, it's just a kid and a literal talking pig.
Why stay with the pig when you can have the rabbits? A surprisingly reserved Bulma passes on them and insults them, but the skinny one pulls a gun on her, and he keeps like ending every single sentence with yes, maybe, yeah. And I'm like, did the original Japanese dub have that character have some sort of verbal tick at the end of every single sentence that he said? Because that's the only thing I could come up with. That why would he have this accent and go, yes, maybe,
done that accent but in Japanese?
I don't know. Goku's eating a burger and doesn't even flinch until Bulma says, Goku, these bad men need to be taken care of or they're going to hurt us.
He didn't even do anything until he finished the burger.
Yeah, a gun has been pulled on his good friend Bulma, and he's just like, what you gonna do about it?
Like, I think Goku's seen enough guns to know what they mean. Nothing.
Bulma, just let him shoot you. Works for me. I think Goku's evil barometer is just a little off. He's still a little too innocent. Oolong says, Goku's no match for a pistol, but he was! He was totally shot! 6 times in the face, I might remind you.
The pig watched him get shot.
Yamcha watches from around the corner and he's got a smirk smile, like, yeah, he's totally a match for a pistol. Yamcha knows what's up. Oolong doesn't. Goku springs into action, and he's so fast that he can kick the gun into the air before the goon can even get a shot off. And he drops him with a single punch to the gut and kicks his goggles clean off. It's a really quick, snappy 1, 2, 3, and he is out. The other one aims a gun at Goku, but he just jumps over him and rams the power pole right up his ass. Like, we get a good reaction shot, both of his eyes bug out, and he's got the blue streak over his face. And he's like, oh! And he bounces forward a couple of times, he's grabbing his butt, and then he falls over. That's a great move. I think Goku should pull that out more often. What's the move where you put your fingers together and you jab it right up somebody's butt?
It's like the 10,000 Years of Death or something like that.
Yeah. Goku's got that, but he's got his entire power pole that he can just ram in there. Insulted, he calls their boss, and the townsfolk are mortified. They lock themselves in their houses, but not before someone yells, "A curse on you!"
Before running away into his own home.
Yeah.
Now, I was like, oh, I've seen this scenario before. We literally had this scenario of Oolong. And I was trying to predict what the boss was going to look like. Like you said, there's humans and there's animals and there's like monsters and dinos. I had no idea what this boss was going to look like.
Ox King.
Yeah.
Boss Rabbit. That's what the title is. His name's not actually Boss Rabbit. We'll get to that. While they're waiting for the boss to get there, the goons like help each other up, and I love how this skinny guy goes, "No, but it hurts, yes."
I feel like this man has to speak about everything just so he can use his accent.
The voice actor, this is his only role. He's like, I gotta make it count. They tell the gang that the boss is coming to do his special thing, which totally isn't going to turn them into a carrot or something, so at least we don't have to worry about that happening in this episode. Which is good, because Goku says that he doesn't like carrots, and I find that hard to believe. Goku not liking any kind of food. We've seen him just eat like a moron the entire time.
I feel like, I don't know, I could see it. I'm kind of hoping they kind of stick to it in the future, where if they bring up carrots again, they just stick to Goku not liking it.
I don't know if it comes up ever again. We'll have to see.
Okay.
This is where the Rabbit Mobile appears, and it looks awful.
Okay.
Like maybe if it was just the ears and like a tail on this little like Volkswagen Beetle, it wouldn't be bad. But it has a doll face kind of expression on the front, and it is disgusting.
It's like big anime eyes in the front of the car.
It's got like, you know, the Pikachu blush on the cheeks, and it's got like this creepy doll smile, and I'm just like, no thank you. A large rabbit in a silk Chinese outfit and sunglasses comes out of the car, and Yamcha claims to have seen him before, but he can't quite remember. The boss rabbit leaps into the air and makes a bunch of silly kung fu noises before landing in front of Bulma and says, "Let's shake hands, baby."
I couldn't take this character serious at all. Because the moment he stepped out of the car, I was not expecting a literal rabbit. Yeah. But at the same time, I wasn't surprised because it's Dragon Ball. I shouldn't be surprised of anything like that. But I think one of the remarks that Oolong had when he stepped out of the car, I love, was something about a circus.
Something about a circus.
It's like the circus is in town.
It's like, shut up, Oolong, you're a pig man. What the fuck are you on about? Yamcha remembers, his touch is his weapon. If they shake hands with him, they're goners for sure. Immediately, Bulma slaps his hand away and sticks her tongue out. But the rabbit laughs, and She's turned into a carrot? What? No way! They said that this wouldn't happen! Who could have predicted this? There's no way they would have turned into a carrot when they distinctly said that wouldn't happen!
I'm not gonna lie. I was like in denial. I was like, that's not Bulma. They did not turn her into a carrot.
Listen,
there's no way.
You have to understand, Bulma was 100% right at the beginning of the series when she said there's no such thing as magic. Magic does not exist. She's just goofing on him with science.
I was in denial.
Yamcha calls him Monster Carrot, and at first I thought that was a really dumb name, so I looked up his Japanese name, and it's Toninjinka, which literally means rabbit who turns people into carrots. And so I thought, maybe it's not so dumb anymore.
It's just dumb in English, I guess.
It seems that he doesn't even have to touch them, so as long as they touch him, anyone will turn into a carrot. Because Goku's like, oh, I'm gonna beat you up. And he goes, you touch me, you turn into a carrot. And so now Goku has to figure out a different way to beat him. And Oolong immediately solves it. He's like, Goku, just use your power pole.
Hit him with a stick.
Hit him with a stick.
God damn it.
Here's a little thought experiment for you. Is Monster Carrot the most powerful Dragon Ball character? All he has to do is touch someone, and they turn into a carrot. So Frieza, Cell, Boo, any one of those guys could lose if they hit him.
I mean, if they're just if they're good at the game tag, then I guess they won't lose.
But that's just it. Monster Carrot threatened Goku by saying, "Hey, if you punch me, that still counts as touching, and so you're gonna turn into a carrot too."
Couldn't you just use the gun?
Yeah, but, Frieza and Cell and Boo, they would totally... They don't fight using guns. Sure, they can shoot laser beams or whatever, but I feel like they don't open with a laser beam. I think Monster Carrot could have won.
Do you think Monster Carrot can take a single hit from them, though? So you can't turn him into a carrot unless he dies the one hit.
See, that's just it. He needs to start training his body to be more durable. Because he clearly doesn't like getting hit or bonked on the head or anything like that in this episode. So.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
So maybe if he can do some resistance training, then he'd be better. Monster Carrot threatens to eat Bulma, so he's got the high ground. This is where Goku actually submits. Like, if nothing else happened in this episode, Goku would have lost to Monster Carrot. He asks Oolong for advice, but he's already run away. Because he's a coward. And I'm second. At the beginning of this set, I was sick of Oolong running away. Like, it wasn't really funny. And I'm just like, God damn it, Oolong, get back here. Really? Don't make me say piggy.
I got used to it. Just don't if you don't have expectations, you won't be disappointed.
Okay. The Rabbit Gang teams up on Goku and they start beating him up, prompting Yamcha to join the fight. Puar turns into a bird and steals the carrot away, while sounding like an airplane again.
I love that. That was great.
It's always a good gag whenever something's going real fast and you just hear... Yamcha gets in a good elbow drop on one guy and takes the other one out with a nice kick. And Goku's really happy to see Yamcha. I'm happy to see Yamcha too. Yamcha says, "Here she comes," when talking about Puar, so I think that Puar is a girl.
They did say she.
Yes. Several times in this set. So I'm willing to say that Puar is a girl. It's canon. You heard it here first. Goku or go home official. Puar smashes up against a big mushroom and drops the carrot, and everyone jumps for it, but eventually Goku ends up catching the Bulma carrot. Puar transforms into Monster Carrot and threatens him with the same carrot touch. It's a good bit. He's like, touch me, touch me.
He literally says that every time.
It's good.
And it makes me laugh because it gives off the same vibe from Lucio in Overwatch. Because he has a line that just literally says, "Hit me." So he just hears some of the Lucios just spam, "Hit me." throughout the match.
Oh, that's right. That's one of his voice lines. Like, you can spam it.
Yeah.
Goku whacks the real monster carrot with his power pole and demands Bulma be changed back, which he does by clapping his hands. Bulma is back and is excited to hear that Yamcha's here, and does a silly, like, 2-frame head turn, like, Puar can see that Bulma likes Yamcha, but to him, it was easier for him to be around her when she was just produce. Goku ties up the goons while Bulma chews out Oolong, but he claims that he was only keeping the car safe. But she can see through that lie.
I'm okay with that excuse.
Goku plants the power pole in the ground and lifts the entire rabbit gang to the moon.
I took notes, and I remember asking from that last episode, how far does that damn stick goes? And you're like, you'll see in the next episode. So in my notes, first it was lots of mushrooms. Second note, holy shit.
I believe I said that your reaction would be something along the lines of, oh!
It was something like that, because I wrote holy shit twice. Because as he was going up, I was like, holy shit. And then he's like, yeah, I just brought him to the moon. I'm like, holy shit.
Very casually. He's like, yeah, I put him on the moon. Yes, they literally go to the moon where they're forced to make marshmallow rabbit treats. And if they make some for all the children on Earth, then he'll consider bringing them home. Fucking fantastic. It is the perfect way to end out the first episode.
I think, if I recall correctly, are you familiar with a folklore of the rabbits on the moon?
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that's why they said that, but I don't know too much about that folklore.
The folklore is, you know how in America we say, oh, the man in the moon?
Yeah.
Because you allegedly can see like a face print or whatever in the moon. Well, in Japan, they see a rabbit on the moon.
Oh,
and
okay.
So the moon has like this rabbit connection already. And there is a Japanese treat that they make on the moon, which is what these little marshmallow rabbit treats are supposed to be. It's not actually marshmallow, but that's how they dubbed it.
Oh, it's mochi, isn't it?
Yes, it's mochi. So the rabbit is making mochi, just like this legend of the rabbit on the moon. And I know this because Okami, in the video game Okami, you get the moon brush technique from a rabbit that's got the mochi hammer, just like the guys in this game, this episode at the end, how they're bashing it with the hammer while he's like turning the dough.
I forgot. They were making. Yeah, I remember that now. Okay.
So yeah, that rabbit had that same hammer in Okami, and they came from the moon. And I'm like, yeah, I know video games.
Okay, because I don't know where or when. Maybe it was a kid. I remember seeing a lot of stuff with rabbits being, I don't know, related to the moon or something, but I never really knew why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's some sort of folklore. Not familiar with the entire story, but I do know some of those beats. This leads us into episode 10, The Dragon Balls Are Stolen! With a title like this, I wonder what happens.
I was hoping that Yamcha was going to
Steal the Dragon Balls?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wanted you to kind of keep tabs on your predictions.
Yeah.
Because last week, I had asked that, and you had said, "Oh, I think Shu's going to bungle a wish." And
this
point,
he's gonna be. I was the way how I pictured it in my head was Emperor Pilaf about to make his wish, and just Shu's just standing behind him. He's like, "Oh, I wish I had a bone right now."
This is so majestic. I wish I had a bone. And then, the dragon would hear that instead of Pilaf's wish first.
Yeah.
So when you hear Dragon Balls are stolen, you think Yamcha's gonna steal them.
First, this was at the very beginning of the episode, so I'm writing, taking a couple notes, just in my head.
Yep.
Yeah.
Episode 10 actually starts off with a little mole coming out of the ground, and it's cute. I just had to, anytime we see new wildlife, I make a little note All right. Little mole.
Maybe I don't know. I just like seeing it. Maybe I'm used to it. Playing games like Monster Hunter stuff. It's fun discovering new plants and animals and monsters and stuff.
Yeah, new critters.
Gives a little bit of life.
Yeah, that's the thing that always gets me, because especially in animation, you could just write, oh, the desert was filled with moles. But in animation, you have to physically draw several frames of a mole coming out of the ground. So that's more of an effort. The narrator says that the Goku gang are still being tailed by Yamcha, but he's literally just a single car length behind them at all times. Nobody in Dragon Ball World uses their rear view mirror, I guess. It was about this point where I looked at the car and I noticed, no, they don't actually have any mirrors. But I refuse to believe that Goku just didn't look behind them and go, hey, it's Yamcha! All right!
I feel like it's just because they were too distracted backseat driving for Oolong.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Bulma starts fantasizing about her wish, but Oolong's like, so we're all getting a wish, right? I was thinking all the gold in the world. But I guess he didn't know that Bulma wanted a boyfriend for her wish? I feel like she had mentioned that before, but I guess not around Oolong. He gets mad, of course, and he takes his eyes off the road for 1 second and almost crashes. As is par for the course for these people. Nobody in this group can drive. A cool robot spy crow watches them go down the road as Yamcha reminds us of his wish. Kind of contextualizing where everyone is right now. But I like that crow. It's like a cyborg crow.
They had a cool name for it too. It was like the meta something. I can't remember.
I feel like I made a note about it later, so maybe we'll find that.
Okay.
I got excited when I saw Ninja Feet riding upstairs. Because I knew that Shu was coming. I just remember that the Pilaf gang had the last Dragon Ball. It meant shenanigans.
Late.
Yeah, he's running late. I'm like, oh, shenanigans are about to happen. Pilaf threatens Mai with alligators. And not like cool ones from Roshi's Island, but actual animal alligators. To fix the Dragon Ball locator in 10 seconds. He starts counting, but Mai keeps distracting him. Because she is smart. And he is dumb.
There's no other way to explain it.
Shu appears, and Pilaf asks him if he's located the balls, which is fantastic. Shu responds with, well, I ordered pizza, which is even more fantastic. Mai picks up on a signal of the Dragon Ball and starts reading off the directions, to which Shu marches over and finds the Dragon Ball that they already owned, and Pilaf isn't happy about it. But he should be. The radar works.
They really stretched out that skit right there. You just watch Shu literally walk across the entire room.
They're like, oh yeah, it's 10 paces east. And Shu starts marching down, counting the paces. I don't know. I think Pilaf is over-exaggerating. Like, we know that Bulma has Dragon Radar, but it doesn't seem like anyone else had Dragon Radar up until this point, which means Mai invented Dragon Radar for them. They didn't steal a Dragon Radar and like reverse engineer it. She just built it.
We could go along with that, yeah. I can go along with that.
Some time must have passed from that point and where we are now, because Mai is now on top of a mushroom, spying on the gang herself, looking real fierce. Like, it was a cool shot. It pans up, and you see her, and she's on, like, the radio.
Oh, yeah. No, this is probably the first episode that made him look kind of, at least starting to look intimidating, you know?
They're like, oh, shit. We need the antagonists to actually, like, be a threat. Oolong desperately pleads with Bulma at this point to reconsider her wish and not be so selfish. Let me repeat that. Oolong asks Bulma for her wish to not be so selfish. He's desperate.
I mean, with her wish, only she gets out of it. Gold is something you can share, I guess.
I know, it's just, I'd argue that Oolong's one of the most selfish people that we know in this show so far. So the fact that he's like, please, think of other people for a change. I think that's kind of funny. In protest, Oolong stops the car, but Bulma immediately pulls out Piggy Piggy, and he runs off to drop the Browns off at the Super Bowl.
If I was in Oolong's position, I'd be like, I dare you.
I will shit all over this car.
I will shit right here, and I will not pull over.
Shu is spying from the distance, and he says, "They're sitting ducks." But I heard, "They're shitting ducks," which is appropriate, because Oolong is currently just vacating his entire body. Now complacent, Oolong asks if Bulma's new boyfriend will come with diapers, just in time for Shu to come in on his epic bouncing egg bot and shoot them with a missile. Good to see this technology making a comeback.
Mm-hmm.
Oolong asks what happened, and Goku says, "We got blowed up." Maybe Goku is a toddler. Like, I can't think of anyone else that would say something like that. "Oh, we got blowed up."
I mean, what else can he say? When Shu shot that missile too, that was probably the scariest they made Shu look, because they made him show his teeth,
Mm-hmm.
he had his eyes all like slanted and angry looking.
He was out for blood. He was ready to kill all three of those people for those Dragon Balls. Yes, I say, a shockingly hyper-competent Shu actually managed to steal the Dragon Balls from the gang. And he says things like, "I have come to repossess the Dragon Balls," and "The balls are mine now," and he flies away. And I think Shu might be the best.
It's like, see ya, suckers.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to keep an eye. It was too quick, but I tried to count how many Dragon Balls were in the suitcase when Shu checked to see if they're in there.
Mm-hmm. And that actually comes up.
Yeah, I wasn't able to count how much was on there.
I liked that they had Goku say some big words too. Like, he doesn't understand what repossess means. Like, I think Oolong says, "Oh, what happened?" And Goku goes, "He repossessed us."
Okay.
I'm like, okay, Goku. Okay. They have Goku give chase on the Nimbus, but he can't catch up to Shu's Egg Hopper. He's already swapped it out for Mai's getaway plane. And Goku thinks that the Egg Hopper is a monster, which is always good to see happen again. He just doesn't get that it's not alive, and he knocks it over after getting frustrated that it won't respond to him anytime he talks to it. He very casually says, "Huh, stiff as a board. Yep, he's dead."
I literally thought he was just gonna wail at it with the stick and just call it a day.
Back over with Bulma, in an attempt to change her mind, Oolong offers to be her boyfriend. She doesn't take the bait, though.
It's a choice he has to exhaust for his wish, you know. I would do the same.
What I think is actually pretty funny is this is a good show of character development for Oolong, because he was totally ready to steal Bulma when he first met her, and now he's like, "Oh, good God, she's insufferable." Thankfully, I don't see Bulma as being insufferable. She's got her bad moments, but I think all in all, Bulma's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Oolong actually touches on something that I've brought up. She doesn't want a real hunk. She just wants a conjured-up whipping boy from the dragon. So the dragon would create an entire goddamn human being.
She wants a genetic freak.
He's not normal, Bulma. He's a genetic freak. Goku returns without the Dragon Balls, and Bulma breaks down, and she gets this searing purplish pink spotlight on her while she laments over her lost boyfriend that doesn't exist because it hasn't been made. And Goku points out that he still has one of the Dragon Balls because based Goku not letting go of his grandpa's ball, and that came out wrong.
He got a firm grip on Grandpa Gohan's ball. Don't worry, Grandpa. Gone but not forgotten.
Every time I grab onto this, I think of you. Bulma, now invigorated, demands that they get all the balls back, but Oolong has to remind her that their car got blown up. It seems like she's got him beat at first because she bought all those dino caps in the last episode, which I actually forgot until she pointed that out.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems she has forgotten that they were also with the balls that got stolen. So she's flip-flopping between extremes in like 20 seconds. Fear, anger, happiness, sadness. It's like watching a speedrun of the stages of grief. Yamcha sees that they're down a ride and he sucks up his fear. Good on him. He's being brave. Every time we see Yamcha, he's always pushing himself forward.
Stepping out of his comfort zone, you know? Good old Yamcha.
He pulls up in his hover car and he just cannot act. He's too busy laughing like a lunatic. Like, oh, hey guys! How's it going?
Like the nervous laugh. It's like a coping mechanism.
They all ride off as sexy saxophone music starts playing, and Bulma's laying on the charm and wants Yamcha to close his eyes. He thinks that she's gonna kiss him, but she just checks her dragon radar. When Yamcha
she was gonna kiss him. I thought she was gonna kiss him, and the man was gonna crash the car.
And then they're down another car and have to do another one. Yamcha doesn't get the kiss, and he sounds kind of annoyed. But Bulma rubs her cheek up against him, and he freaks out, peeling down the road at incredible speed. Like, they leave Goku in the dust, and he's on the Nimbus, which we've already established is pretty freaking fast.
Yeah. They got extra weight on the car, too.
We cut back to Pilaf, and he's gloating, but Pilaf, just like me, can't count the Dragon Balls while he celebrates. But Mai and Shu give him the news that he is, in fact, missing one. Pilaf calls them fools and is livid with them, but in one fell swoop, they got 5/7 of the balls in a single mission. I think they did their job pretty damn well. Like, they know where the last one is.
Even Shu's like, well, I think we did a good job.
I have a note that says, I think 6 is pretty good, sire. Yeah, it is pretty good. Before anything bad can happen, Pilaf's dragon radar picks up on Goku's ball. I gotta stop writing things like that. He scrambles Mai and Shu to set the traps. This got me thinking. This is Pilaf's castle, his home base of operations. Are Mai and Shu the only available staff? They mentioned scouts a few times, but like only in the "but they never returned" kind of sense. Oh, we sent a scout to Death Valley, but he never returned.
Oh, I do remember that. Honestly, I was wondering if Pilaf even had like people to rule over.
Anytime you see him fantasizing about being a ruler, it always seems to be the people in that last town where they've got all the robes and stuff on, and they're always bowing towards him. So maybe that's, he's in that vicinity. But no, I was more concerned that he doesn't have any staff, which actually comes up in a later part or a later episode, and I'll point it out. But that's when I started thinking about it. Oolong calls Pilaf's castle not bad for a summer home. Sometimes Oolong has some good lines. I mean, he's been living in that one Chinese palace for a while until he went on this adventure with Goku, so maybe Pilaf's castle is just a summer home for him.
I mean, Oolong's house was a
palace.
Lot nicer. Yeah, I think it might be the same size, but in terms of living conditions, I feel like Oolong's was better.
Yeah, but of course, we're only seeing, I want to say, the dungeon in this set of episodes. Pilaf's creepy sex dungeon. Anyway, Yamcha's really putting himself through the ringer at this point, in the sense that he's constantly having panic attacks just from being around Bulma. Like, he's working real hard. I think he earns this wish. They go inside the castle and are almost immediately swarmed by bats, and Bulma freaks out and goes to Yamcha for help, but then he freaks out and he just chucks her on the floor. And I think this is a good lesson for her. She needs to learn personal space. Boundaries, they need to be crossed when they deserve to be crossed, and Bulma needs to learn that. They start going through these dark halls, and some Indiana Jones shenanigans starts happening. Goku steps on a pressure plate and stone pillars start coming out of every direction, just trying to crush people. One picks up Bulma from the floor and is going to crush her against the ceiling, but once again, Yamcha comes through and breaks her free with a roundhouse kick.
Yeah, like right after shoving her to the floor.
Yep. Some more pillars are about to crush Yamcha, but he matrix dodges them. He bends backwards, only for Goku to come in with his power pole and chop the pillar in half which then falls and crushes Yamcha.
That
he was
wasn't
fine.
That wasn't even the end of it either. Goku just kept going. Like, Goku was only trying to help in this situation by taking out the rest of the pillars.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming in from below, from the sides, and from above. But as he keeps smashing them, they just keep on piling on top of everyone.
Yeah, like Yamcha's buried at the end of it all. Like you only see his arms and legs. Like Pilaf is pissed that the trap doesn't work and demands that Mai tell him the name of the ninny who designed it, only to find out that it was his own creation. It's always nice to shit on Pilaf. He deserves it.
Yeah.
While sneaking along and trying not to activate more traps, the gang find a big glowing pink arrow on the floor. Yamcha immediately calls it out as a trap, but they follow it anyway until they reach a dead end. And I am shocked that this plan worked, because it was just dumb enough to work. Like, they hit the dead end and then a wall comes down. And
I thought it was smart.
I don't think it's this part. I think it might be the beginning of the next episode. But Pilaf says, "Oh, the glowing arrow on the floor trick gets him every time." And I'm like, yeah, this is dumb enough to work in Dragon Ball world. Pilaf ends this episode threatening to steal their Dragon Ball, and he will have all 7 balls. Which leads to episode 11, The Penalty is Pinball. I know that we've already had... Maybe we haven't had, like, filler episodes, but this is the first one where 75% of this episode doesn't need to happen.
I would say so. I still had fun watching it, but there was like, but you're right.
we'll get to it.
It's just, you know that one scene in Scooby-Doo where they get chased by the monster and they go through the doors and throughout the whole map?
I want to say I have a note that says exactly this.
It's like that, but it's a whole episode.
Mm-hmm. Yes. This one starts off with the narrator recapping the previous episode, but he actually makes it a point to call Mai and Shu bumbling henchmen. But, like, they were actually competent last time. They were the exact opposite of bumbling. Everyone except for Goku is worried about the trap and dying in the clutches of Pilaf. But he looks at the camera and goes, "Scary." Goku knows that we're watching him.
Yeah. Goku likes to mention like small remarks, isn't like that's weird or that's scary.
Which, you know, he could say that under his breath, but turning directly towards the camera and saying, "Ooh, spooky." Mai remarks that you can never trust a short person. Surely one of those runts has a Dragon Ball. And Pilaf and Shu just slowly turn towards her and give her this look. And they even do the airplane joke. Pilaf says, "Don't call me Shirley," which is a direct line from the movie.
Oh, really?
Yes. Surely one of those runts has the Dragon Ball. You'll think twice before commenting on someone's size. And don't call me Shirley.
Okay, because I didn't watch the movie.
You haven't seen Airplane?
No.
It's one of that's one of like the lines that everyone knows from the movie.
Okay. This joke flew right over my head, so I didn't know what they meant. But obviously, Mai was talking shit. I got that at least.
Yamcha and Goku try to bash their way through the walls, but they're trapped. Nothing happens. Yamcha even floats in the air with his punch for a little bit before sliding down to the floor. It makes like one of those as he falls. Goku is shocked that he just can't punch through a wall. Goku needs more training if he's going to want to punch through that wall. Pilaf mocks them from a small TV and calls the chamber triple-butted, double-reinforced, steel-lined walls. And I don't know what triple-butted means. Maybe I heard it wrong, but that's what I heard.
Let's do a quick Google search.
Tack.
I have no idea.
Well, let's see.
I typed in. I found a diagram, and I have no idea what this. Oh, that's a bicycle frame.
Well, let's see. I typed in triple butted, and I found freaks of nature. Woman has 3 butts. Well, that's in my search history. It's hard to believe that we've gone 11 episodes without Bulma actually meeting Pilaf, but they're finally introduced here. While they're bickering, Goku whispers to Yamcha, "I think I can get him if I dive through that window." And just when I thought that we were done with dumb, innocent Goku, he slams another joke out of the park. That was phenomenal. Yamcha responds with, "That's a TV set, you dummy." It's great.
I liked it. It was an innocent, funny joke you expect from Goku.
Bulma sticks her tongue out at Pilaf, which is the biggest insult he's ever received. He says, "Time for the treatment," and he pulls a lever. Both Mai and Shu seem shocked that Pilaf is busting out the treatment. A claw comes through the ceiling and grabs Bulma and takes her away, and Oolong seems pleased. Bulma's brought before Pilaf and his crew, and shockingly, she flips him off.
Yeah, I laughed. I was just not ready because I was like, a kid could be watching this.
It's got to be one of those things. They had to have censored that somehow.
What do you think? How do you think they censored it?
Maybe they changed what finger.
Maybe it's just like a straight up thumbs up.
Or
maybe it's just her pointing at him in general.
Her pointing finger. Like, I imagine that they just like photoshopped out the middle finger and moved it over to her pointer finger. So she's pointing at the ceiling, because she does say, "My magic finger says it's in the ceiling." This wouldn't be the first time that they've censored someone flipping off. There is a shot of Vegeta on planet Namek, and he's flipping off somebody, and I just remember that they cut that off. They cut the finger off, and they drew a new knuckle or something, so it just looks like he's...
Is that where the photo is from? Wait, I've seen this.
You've seen Vegeta flipping someone off?
I've seen that photo. I thought that was just some random dude just making his
edgy Vegeta content.
Yeah.
No, he actually flipped someone off, and I think they edit it by removing his finger.
And because of that, I remember watching a YouTube video, like an animation, someone drawing just a funny animation of just Dragon Ball, and it's just Vegeta flipping someone off, but he has 8 knuckles in his middle finger. Oh man.
Pilaf prepares the treatment and says that she'll wish that she just killed her instead. Oolong seems pleased. Everyone is cowering from the treatment. And I have this in italicized with the treatment in my notes every time.
Mm-hmm.
Shu pleads with him to have a heart, but it's too late. Pilaf puts his hand over his mouth, takes a step forward, and unleashes his ultimate attack. The treatment! Which is him blowing a kiss. He says, "Pretty scary, don't you think?" And he is shocked when it doesn't work on Bulma, and declares that he got his degree in torture, and he's most assuredly a certified master of torture.
I thought that was pretty funny. But I liked the reaction more when it didn't affect Bulma. They're like, "Good golly.
She's invincible."
Kids these days.
In a huff, he pulls a lever and he sends her back with the gang. Oolong does not seem pleased. I think Oolong was hoping that she would die here. He's so displeased that there's a super smooth animation. And I'm super smooth. His ears droop. And it's animated on 2s or 1s. If this is a 24 frame per second show, there's got to be 24 drawings of these ears just
drooping.
Yeah, it's super fucking smooth.
I don't know. I just liked how they're like, "Oh, a first grader could have done that."
Yeah. Wow, this move sucks. A first grader could have come up with something better. Pilaf gives them some yellow number 3 gas, and it knocks everyone out without any effort. He shows up to gloat over them, but inhales some of the gas and passes out too, and Pilaf is dumb. Even Mai and Shu wear gas masks into the chamber.
Yeah, I don't know. Only Pilaf would do that. I thought Shu and Mai looked pretty cool and sounded pretty cool with the mask on.
Mm-hmm. At first, I thought that maybe Pilaf was immune to the gas. That's why he came in. He was like, I'm so great. I'm so special. But he's not great. And he's not special. He's just a little man. And he's not good.
I'm pretty sure Bulma calls him a troll as well.
I think she does call him a little troll.
Before that little troll takes my Dragon Balls.
Shu takes Pilaf back to his chamber, and Mai loots the bodies, finding the final Dragon Ball on Goku. She holds it up, and there's a really good dissolve from the ball to the moon. And this is important. You're going to want to pay attention to this. Pilaf is dreaming, holding his collection of balls, and we hear his mom ask if he stole them. It's kind of odd. Like, this entire episode is a little strange, even for Dragon Ball standards. Mai wakes him up and delivers the news that the Pilaf gang now has 7 balls. They keep the balls in a cool long box and they start glowing when she takes the lid off. And for whatever reason, it was at this point that I had the thought, is Mai around in the Pilaf gang so they can do physical feats that Pilaf and Shu just can't accomplish? Like, the box is pretty long, and she has to reach over the table just to pull the top off, and you need height to do this. And I'm like, no one else can pull this box off the table. She's only here to get things off the top shelf.
Someone has to be the straight man.
They glow and shine for this really long time. It takes 30 seconds of ball glowing related whimsy material, just hammering home the mysticism. It is going on for a long time. And at first I was watching it, I'm like, okay. Alright. Okay. Yes, the balls are glowing. Yes, it's very whimsical, Dragon Ball. Thank you. Yes, we are moving on now. Thank you.
I was watching this with a very dim lamp as well, so it was just lit up my whole living room.
And it's just going and nothing else is happening. Bulma's the first to wake up and notices that now Goku's ball is gone. How the tables have turned. Remember when Goku woke up first and said that Bulma's balls were gone?
Well, he means it this time.
Bulma runs over to Goku to shake him awake, and in doing so bends over Yamcha. He wakes up to get a face full of booba, and I feel like we've been here before with Yamcha.
That was probably the most detailed booba they've shown so far on, at least...
It had shading.
Even, yeah.
I'm sure someone on the production team has that frame. They took it home and they had it framed, and it's on their wall somewhere. And they're like, yeah, I drew Bulma.
that.
I drew Bulma's cleavage, fully rendered. He screams, everyone else wakes up. Bulma worries that Pilaf might have already made the wish, but Puar interrupts them by pointing out that they straight up left the door open for them to leave. Goku wonders if it's another trap, but Yamcha actually has some brains and says, why would they set another trap for us if we were already trapped? Smart guy, that Yamcha. Smart guy. They run out just as Pilaf and company are moving down a different hall of the castle, where they bump into each other, and this is exactly where I said, this is some Scooby-Doo shit.
They just stared into each other's eyes. I couldn't even believe it myself that they even did this. And then after they made eye contact, they straight up asked Pilaf, "Did you make the wish yet?"
And he slowly turns his head.
Pilaf is just sweating bullets and is just shaking his head.
That was incredible. Yeah, they're just like staring at each other, dead silent. Oh, you got out. Uh-huh. Did you make the wish? Goku demands to have his grandpa back, and it's been a while that we've heard that. So he points at him and says, "Give me back my grandpa!" And he's determined, he's good. They come to a chamber that has a bunch of different passages as they chase Pilaf and the gang. And I almost thought Yamcha was going to say, "Let's split up, gang."
Oh boy.
That would just really hammer home the Scooby-Doo shenanigans. Pilaf berates Mai and Shu for letting them escape and asks, "How stupid are you guys?" And they respond with, "Very stupid, sir." I feel bad for them. That being said, it was Mai's fault that they got out. She was the last one in the chamber, and she didn't close the wall back up when she left. She had Shu take Pilaf back to his chambers, and she got the Dragon Ball. So she was the last person in there.
And she was.
Pilaf pulls a switch, and the control console of his computer flips over to reveal piano keys. And he says, "Pinball, that's the penalty." And it's close enough to a tile drop for me to point it out.
Mm-hmm.
He pushes a key on the keyboard, and a wall pushes them through the darkness into a literal pinball board, which I somehow forgot about. Like, watching through this series twice before, I somehow forgot about the pinball episode. Like, they're bouncing around, and it's playing pinball sound effects as they're going off the bumpers and everything.
Oh yeah, they were just defying the law of physics. They were just bouncing around in creative mode.
Yeah. I have a note about it coming up in just a little bit, talking about some of the motions here. But Pilaf continues to play the keyboard and summons giant pinballs to crush the gang with. And I think the idea in a few of these shots is that the pinball bumpers are pushing them around so fast that it makes it look like they're flying, but they didn't animate them moving quickly, and it just looks like they're tweening through the air. Like you said, like Minecraft creative mode. Goku tries to punch one, and he gets sent flying, while the rest of the gang runs through an exit. They run around a maze for a while, and Pilaf has total control over this giant metal ball. He can make it turn corners and even rolls back up a steep incline. And by this point, it's not even following the rules of the maze. It's just punching through these, like, maze walls. You know, these maze walls that are so strong, even Goku can't knock them over.
Oh, that thing was just piling through walls like it was nothing.
It was out for blood. Honestly, it was chasing them like a serial killer in a slasher movie. Like Jason Voorhees just shattering through things and stuff like that.
Even the Kool-Aid Man would be impressed.
Yeah, the Kool-Aid Man. They're chased through what I can only describe as the standing domino room. And the only thing I could think of was, I wonder if this has ever shown up in a Dragon Ball video game. Like, this would make a perfect level.
I've only played, what is it? The only Dragon Ball video game I've ever played was a couple years back. It's 2D. Oh, there was so many. I don't remember.
I'm going to assume it was some kind of fighting game because that's all that Dragon Ball makes nowadays. But I could see this being like an adventure game or a platformer or something where
open world type of deal.
So I was so disappointed when they announced Dragon Ball Kakarot as this open world RPG action game. And I'm like, oh, this is great. You could start off as, Kid Goku and, play through his life. But it starts off at Dragon Ball Z, and you don't get to play Kid Goku. So what's the point of calling it Kakarot if you don't have the entire Goku story? I don't. This is not the time for this discussion. The gang think that they have escaped it, and there's a good bit where, in a quiet room, they think they found a way out behind a curtain, but the curtain opens to reveal the ball returns.
That got me. That actually got me. I thought Yamcha and I were tricked. It was like, oh, it looks like a tunnel. It looks like a... Was it Yamcha?
Yeah.
Man, I thought they were out.
My favorite part about this is when the curtain opens, some burlesque horns start playing and the spotlight shine on the ball, making it sparkle. And I can confidently say, this is the sexiest pinball I have ever seen. It chases them into a dead end, and it stops right before crushing them, only for another wall to come down and cut them off, and they are right back where they started. This entire episode was pointless filler. Got 'em! Another thing I noticed in this episode was the fact that they reused a lot of the same animation loops, like when Pilaf would play the keyboard or when the gang was running around.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna, maybe they needed to stretch this sequence out to make it a full episode length. Like maybe in the manga this was a shorter segment that they thought would make a good episode on the TV show. So they're like, oh, we ran out of budget and we have to have this be a full episode. So cut back to Pilaf playing his piano keyboard thing, throwing another shot of the gang running away. All cost-saving measures. Pilaf says that he keeps them alive so they can see him make his wish, because villains do stupid shit like this all the time. It was about this time that I noticed that they were putting in a lot of good foreshadowing shots, like the transition from the Dragon Ball to the moon. They do like a from the moon down on the castle kind of thing to show a passage of time. Yamcha says that Goku has to use the Kamehameha wave to break them out. And Goku says, how do you know about that? And I think Goku's smarter than he lets on. Because he's like, I've never done that move in front of you.
Honestly, this is when I learned that the Kamehameha wave was more of a laser than just a straight-up explosion.
Well, sometimes when it hits things, it has a tendency to just combust into an explosion. But yeah, it's an energy beam.
Yeah, because I'm so used to just seeing stuff like just seeing the Kamehameha wave just blowing up. Or maybe that's just like in Z whenever I see like fights.
Because at that point, everything's so strong that everything has to explode so you can feel strong. Pilaf starts his preparations for summoning the dragon, and they are giving it reverence. Like, even Pilaf is like, this is important, we have to do this right. Goku charges up, and he shoots out this cute little Kamehameha wave at the wall, and it busts a plug straight through it. Like, if you've ever seen Kung Pao enter the fist, he punches a hole through a dude's chest, and it's this solid, like, cylindrical chunk comes out. And that's exactly what it looks like when Goku shoots a hole in the wall. Goku does his best, though.
I just searched it up, and oh my word.
like crap, man. Does the body work like that?
I just searched up Kung Pao punch.
You see this perfectly circular cylinder.
The cleanest punch.
Yep. At this point, Yamcha comes up with a good plan. To have Puar turn into a bat, fly through the hole, and steal a Dragon Ball before they can summon the dragon. Bulma tells Oolong to go help her and threatens to yell, Piggy, every 10 seconds until he does. And so he also transforms.
I was like, I bet Oolong can help, but I doubt he will until Bulma actually threatened him.
And this is how desperate Bulma is. They are in a confined space together. And she is threatening, hey, I'm going to make you shit in this same room with me, and I'm okay with that. So you better make peace with your god right now.
I will kill you.
What I thought was weird about this, though, was the fact that neither of them actually turned into bats. Like, they just grew bat wings. They still looked like...
Puar looked cute.
Mm-hmm.
And close to bat, because Puar had she had the ears and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I almost spat out my drink until I saw the second bat.
Yeah, Puar with bat wings and a bat body. He's just this pink flesh. It's gross.
Oolong is just literally a pig with bat wings.
Mm-hmm. It's nasty.
Yeah, he's not even wearing clothes. It's just
nope,
a bright pink,
just a
brown bat,
just a fleshy sphere for a body.
Bat pig.
Mm-hmm. Pilaf summons the dragon. The balls react, and dark clouds roll in. Lightning strikes the balls, and it starts to come out. It's epic. It's awe-inspiring. It's a being of pure energy forming into the shape of a massive dragon. It's like one of the most climactic ways that they've ended an episode. Like, the narrator asks if Puar and Oolong can save the day. But homie, have you been paying attention? The Dragon Balls are used. The dragon is summoned. They can't just steal away one of the balls. I don't think that's going to work. Their plan has already failed.
I I didn't actually think they already failed because I thought one of my coworkers, right,
Mhm.
was out. He was like restocking a shelf, and I was like, "Oh, dude, you don't have to do that. You already clocked out." He's like, "Oh, okay. I'll just put the drinks back in the box." So I thought that when the dragon appears and is about to make like his speech, like "Who summoned me, mortal?" I thought they were just gonna steal a ball, and he just shrinks back into the ball.
That would actually be really funny if that happens. I don't think anyone ever thinks to do that, because he just like would he just like see it happening like hey 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 hey.
Oh man, I just wanted to see the mighty dragon, the eternal dragon, just getting sucked back into his ball like a genie without like a choice.
No, it's been 10,000 years. No. Episode 12 is A Wish to the Eternal Dragon. Once again, this has started happening more frequently in this set of episodes. The narrator recaps what we saw from the last episode. And we don't normally get a recap, at least in the ones that we've seen so far.
Mm-hmm.
Puar says they're too late, and they hold each other with Oolong, but Oolong just has his balls out for some reason, and it caught me off guard. And it's not just like this is a quick frame, we don't necessarily see it, or his legs covering. No, his legs are just spread, and he's just got his balls out.
Puar.
As the dragon emerges, Pilaf fantasizes about him being the Emperor of Earth, and he's got this cool silver skull scepter with a nose ring, despite not having a nose. It's good shit.
That's a good observation. I didn't question that.
The dragon descends from on high, and he is huge. He's long and green, he's got glowing red eyes and a deep booming voice. He's got cool whiskers, and I like his deer antlers. It's a real 10 out of 10 design.
Mm-hmm.
Good shit.
Very mythical creature.
Mm-hmm. It does not feel like it belongs in this world. It's incomprehensibly large, and it does have that kind of air about it. And also, he's all business. Like, the second that he is able to, he goes, "What is your wish?" Everyone's in awe.
Yeah, I wonder. So, do they always just call the dragon Eternal Dragon, or does the dragon actually? What's the name of the dragon?
The dragon does have a name, and it's Shenron. Shenron, the Eternal Dragon.
Did I miss them ever say the name, or
I don't
have
think
they just not say it?
I don't think they said that yet.
Okay.
But yes, that is. Here's your tip from the future. The dragon does have a name. Everyone is in awe. They can't believe what they're seeing. But Oolong has his clothes on back. Like, suddenly. Are you telling me that he got naked just to fly through the sky? You know, feel the breeze on your balls? He's like, okay, don't have to fly anymore. Time to put my pants back on. The dragon wants to hear the wish, but also says, "Beware, for it will come true." So Pilaf really has to make his wish count. And at this point, who did you think was going to get that wish?
I was still rooting for Shu.
Still thinking that Shu was going to get it?
But I knew that there was a chance it wouldn't be in him. But I knew it wasn't going to be Mai and Pilaf.
Neither of them could get a wish.
Yeah. Because I just had a hunch. There was no way they were going to get it. So at this point, it was either going to be Shu, Puar, or Oolong.
So you had these three buttlickers.
These three buttlickers.
And you know what? I think even if you were watching it live, knowing what you know about just how stories work, like, surely the Emperor can't get his wish because he's a bad guy, and that would mean that he wins. And this show has not made it clear that bad guys will ever win.
I just felt like if they made Pilaf get the wish, then they would have to look at this whole series in a whole new perspective.
If Pilaf ever got his wish, and actually they end up doing this later on, at the very beginning of Dragon Ball GT.
What the hell is GT?
Yeah. At the beginning of Dragon Ball GT, Pilaf returns and is about to make a wish on Dragon Balls, but Goku shows back up, and at this point he's a grown-ass man. And right before he's about to make his wish to become the Emperor of Earth, he turns around and says, "Goku?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I remember you. Man, when I was a little kid, you used to be, like, about the same size as me, or maybe even bigger." And he's like, "Oh yeah, well, you're dumb and big now, but I wish you were a little kid, because then you wouldn't be so tough. I'm bigger than you, and blah, blah, blah." And the dragon goes, "All right." And he's like, "Wait, what?"
No way.
And so in Dragon Ball GT, Goku is wished into being in the body of a kid again. By
Did he
accident.
still have the same power as he did as an adult?
He had the same techniques and everything, but his power was diminished greatly.
Okay.
Like, he still knew how to fly, how to turn Super Saiyan and throw fireballs and everything. But, yeah, he was much weaker than being adult Goku. But I thought, it's funny that you brought it up, like, oh, well, how could Pilaf win? Pilaf could fuck up his own wish. I think that would be good. Everyone's gawking and freaking out. Goku actually tries to do something by throwing out another Kamehameha wave, but it doesn't work, and he's feeling too hungry and drained. This is also the first part where Goku doesn't call it the Kamehameha wave, but a Kamehameha.
Mm-hmm.
At least when he's referring to it as multiples. Like, man, throwing out Kamehamehas is hard. And so, now we're getting even more confusing on the pronunciation of it. Goku keeps trying, and the dragon is impatient because all these fools just can't spit out their wish. And Puar and Oolong say something along the lines of, "Oh, I hope he's not hungry. I hope he doesn't like bacon." Like, would the dragon get so impatient that he just starts eating people? You get these quick cuts of Goku slinging these Kamehamehas, and the dragon's growling, and Pilaf is groveling, and then Oolong, of all people, like, steeling himself with determination. He takes off, running towards the dragon, talking about how he doesn't want to be a hero, how much he hates this, how much his underwear chafes right now. And I guess I want to know, what was your reaction to seeing Oolong just taking off here?
I was happy. I was really happy Oolong was taking the push. But I was kind of hoping his pants were brown as well while doing it.
Well, he's already wet himself once from the Ox King, so... Here's another question for you. Was this the point that you realized that Oolong was going to get that wish?
I realized that's when I realized Oolong was going to get the wish, because Shu wasn't nowhere near to actually be there to make a wish. I couldn't really see Puar making a wish, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
He never actually, throughout the whole series so far, has ever said "I want" and "I wish." A very selfless kind of person.
Yeah, Puar's a good friend, a good cheerleader for Yamcha. She's a good character, but yeah, she's very selfless and has yet to want for something.
Yeah, I could see Shu getting a wish, but not because of wants, but because he's just straight up just being Shu, just fucking just fucking everything up.
So my follow-up question for this is, what did you think that Oolong's wish was going to be?
Holy shit, I had no idea.
He just started running, and you're like...
It certainly wasn't that.
Goku manages to bust through the wall at the same time as Pilaf starting to make his wish for the world, but then Oolong jumps in to finish with the world's most comfortable pair of ultra soft underwear! And it works! Oolong saves the world with an underwear wish!
I just love it And after how Oolong makes the wish, right? The dragon makes its grand exit, and all you see is just a panel in the sky, dark sky. You just see a little twinkle,
like a shooting star.
Yeah, then here comes falling the world's most comfortable underwear.
And it falls and it lands on his face, and he's like, yeah. Yeah. The dragon's eyes glow and the clouds part. That's when the underwear falls from the sky and lands square on his face. Yamcha says, I think that little pervert just saved the world. And yeah, for all of his faults, Oolong came in clutch at the end there. The dragon transforms into a ball of light, lifting the Dragon Balls into the sky before scattering them in every direction, much to Pilaf's anguish. Bulma explains that this is what happens when the dragon grants a wish, and she was totally in on this information. She knew that this was gonna happen.
Yeah, that's when I realized. I thought Goku was gonna freak out, but he didn't really freak out.
Well, Goku was pretty tired at this point.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But she was willing to let Goku think that he'd get to hold on to his grandpa's ball, and God, I did it again. Yeah, Goku's a little upset by this. He just wanted his ball. I feel a little bad for him.
Mm-hmm.
Pilaf turns into a Dalek from Doctor Who. He demands that Mai and Shu exterminate! Exterminate! Which is a good little bit. Yamcha says that they could take Mai and Shu, but then Mai and Shu start blasting at them with a gun, and they immediately start running. Like, oh yeah, we can take this guy. And then he's like, we can't take this guy. Goku spent from throwing 3 consecutive Kamehamehas. Shu whistles and summons what he calls as his dog police. And a bunch of dogs start storming the castle. Which is crazy. That
was a bunch of them. Oh my word.
And we'll talk more about these dogs in just a second, but
it's like round 6 kicked in.
Like, so many fucking dogs, and like it's just Shu whistling that summons them. This episode put in so much work to make Mai and Shu competent badasses, and meanwhile Pilaf does nothing. He's the worst. Oolong wants to leave everyone else behind because he's already saved the world, and he's already done his part, but then dogs emerge from the ground.
No, I honestly, there's no other way for them to come in from, so I was like, might as well.
You know, maybe a panel on the wall could open up and the dogs could jump out of there. No, they just burrow through the ground and come up in front of them. Sure. More dogs file out of the ceiling to block Yamcha and Bulma. And they're effective. They are effective security. They should have been used earlier. Shenanigans with pinball machines could have been using dogs. Goku is just too hungry to be useful, so Yamcha throws him into a pack of rampaging dogs and says, "Dinner time, Goku!" And he goes nuts.
Like, I thought Yamcha was gonna beat a motherfucker with another motherfucker. I thought he was gonna start wailing at the dogs with
using Goku.
Yeah.
No, I got real excited. For this because the second that Goku kind of perked up, I'm like, aw shit, OG Goku is back, baby. He's so ready to eat all of these dogs again.
I thought he was literally about to swallow the dog whole in midair.
Like, he sees this dog, and it does like the, you know, in cartoons when characters get hungry and they see something that looks like a T-bone steak or something. Mm-hmm. Like, he sees this dog, and the first thing he sees is like how a chicken looks when it's fried. He says, "Yum, yum," and he just goes to town. Yamcha joins in on the fun and starts physically assaulting animals. And I suppose it's self-defense, but Goku totally wants to eat all these. They finish the last few off by crushing them under a big table, while Oolong and Puar run away from their pack of dogs. It was around this point where I wondered, why are they both running? They can transform. And immediately after I said that, Puar says the same thing. They all meet back up, and almost immediately Mai and Shu get the literal drop on them. They use the gang as hostages to threaten Yamcha, who, at this point, is using a dog as a club to batter more dogs.
So, when I saw that, I wasn't disappointed at all.
Yeah,
even she was like, drop the mud.
You had mentioned a motherfucker, or hit a motherfucker with another motherfucker, and that's exactly what's happening. Goku is too hungry to move now, and everyone else is... And nobody else, other than Goku, is bulletproof, so Yamcha has to give in to their demands. They're thrown in some kind of metal chamber, and Oolong says that even Goku couldn't blast through it. But Goku thinks that he can get out through the top because there's no ceiling, which makes me have to ask, has Goku legit never noticed glass before? He's like, oh look, there's no ceiling up there, I can just jump through it.
Do anything, like glass is glass.
He claims that it can't be harder than his head, which is fair. I mean, he took an axe to it before, so I can get behind his reasoning. He jumps up there in an attempt to shatter it, and he just crumples like a soda can. Like his spine compresses. And his eyes bug out, and he's just like... And he slowly falls back down to the ground.
He was on the floor, too. Just suffering for a good...
He's like, ow, 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 ow. I always like whenever Goku gets hurt, because he always like grabs onto his head, and he's like, ow, 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 ow. Bulma calls it tempered glass, and so Goku's head is not strong enough to break that, I guess. If it's bulletproof glass, Goku's head cannot go through it. Yamcha says that they'll find a way out, and that they're going to find all the balls again, and it's nice to see Yamcha just being a part of the gang at this point. Like, he's not trying to steal it from him. He's like, no, we're going to do this together. It's good shit. Bulma says that it's not going to be that easy, because it takes a while, a whole year, for the balls to recharge. And man, don't it feel like that sometimes? Doesn't it feel like it takes a whole year for your balls to recharge?
Let's just move on.
The Dragon Balls, when inert, look just like round white stones, and I suppose you could still pick them up. I know that if I saw a perfectly round white stone, I'd take it.
It's just... It's like the instinct of men. Just wanting to pick up rocks.
Ooh.
Oh,
look
rock.
at that one. It's perfectly round. Can I add that to the collection?
But it makes me think, what are you going to do with the series for a whole year?
Well,
makes me think.
You'll see it coming up.
Alright.
Yamcha and Bulma are upset because they have to wait a whole nother year for their wish, but Pilaf interrupts them on an intercom to let them know that they won't make it past tomorrow, let alone a whole year. He reveals that the chamber that they're in is essentially a giant sun-powered oven, and when the sun rises, they will literally broil. Bulma's mostly worried about her skin drying up and getting premature wrinkles, because of course she's worried about stuff like that. But Oolong points out, at least she'll die with a tan, and she goes, oh yeah, that's right. But then it kind of dawns on her, yeah, she's going to literally die.
Their remarks are always so good.
No,
I'm just saying that their remarks are always so good and such good timing as well.
Mm-hmm. They all freak out at the idea of dying, and Pilaf comments that they remind him of his old pet goldfish, and they'll die just as quickly. And he's a creep. Honestly, like, we're almost to the end of the first season, or the first arc of Dragon Ball, and I gotta say, Pilaf is consistently the worst part. I think that's safe for me to say. Everything else we've enjoyed really a lot.
The worst part of the show, or is that what you meant? Or like just the worst, as in like, oh man, that guy's just the worst.
I think as far as the quality of the show, Pilaf does less to help my enjoyment of the series. He's got a few moments here and there, pulling a switchblade on an alligator, stuff like that. But like for the most part, he's just like he says this shit. He's got these dumb traps that don't work. Ma and Shu are better off without him. I think he pulls the experience down at the end of the day. Not saying that the first 12 episodes have been bad, but Pilaf certainly sours my experience more than other characters.
Okay. I think personally he's all right. A villain will be a villain.
Yeah,
in a series to me, and this is how I'll be okay with it. Because I kind of see them portraying Pilaf as just as a stupid villain, so he's gonna win stupid prizes.
That's fair, and also true. But I think you'll realize as we go through and we start seeing other villains, you can have them be more enjoyable despite how dumb they can be or how bad they can be.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And maybe this is just me watching through it again and going like, oh man, this other villain later on, yeah, that's a good villain, and then comparing Pilaf to that. So
I'm gonna laugh if you're comparing Pilaf to like a literal god.
No.
Okay.
Thankfully, Dragon Ball doesn't get that high.
Okay.
Dragon Ball as a franchise gets that high, but Dragon Ball as a series does not.
Okay.
By the end of Dragon Ball, or like currently in Dragon Ball Super, you have all these bullshit forms and power levels are astronomically high. And by the way, we will get to power levels soon enough, I think. Well, in Z they introduce power levels, but you can kind of gauge where everyone's at in comparison to everyone in this one.
Okay.
But yes, we have power levels in numbers that we can't even comprehend. And by the end of Dragon Ball, Goku, who in Dragon Ball Super becomes a literal Super Saiyan God, could still be beaten by a human. Goku is not strong enough to beat every human on Earth by the end of Dragon Ball.
Okay.
So I think it's more down to earth, and I think that's one of the reasons why Dragon Ball is easy to digest. But I digress. Let's get back to talking about Dragon Ball.
Okay.
Goku and Yamcha try to bust out, but Pilaf gloats because they can't break through 3 feet of his super special steel. He leaves to have coffee and build a house of cards in a brief moment of calm, trying to enjoy the small accomplishments in life, but he is just seething from missing out on his wish. He's like, he pours his coffee, he knocks down his house of cards, and he is pissed. Like, it's right below the surface. Everyone's pretty depressed.
Everyone's pretty depressed. I think the only person who probably has any form of appreciation or satisfaction, I meant to say, is Oolong with his, like, no underwear can beat that now.
he's wearing it on his head.
Yeah, he wears it on his head.
He puts his ears through the leg holes and he just wears it on his head. It's good. Everyone's given up, except Puar is up by the glass ceiling and she's watching the moon. She says it soothes her for being so big and full. Upon hearing of the full moon, Goku tells everyone that a monster comes out when the moon is full, but Bulma says there's no such thing as monsters. And I'm like, Bulma, honey, please. You just saw a dragon tonight. Monsters can exist. Like, you're not fooling anybody.
It's not magic.
It's
not magic.
It's not magic. It's only science. You're gonna have to admit someday that Goku, who can throw fireballs out of his hands, and a dragon that came out of magic Dragon Balls, magic might have to exist. Wishes exist. You saw it happen. The dragon made comfortable underwear appear for Oolong. You're hoping to homunculize a boyfriend? Goku says he's not making anything up, and we learn that a monster trampled Grandpa Gohan to death and destroyed their house.
Now, this one I figured out really quickly compared to the rabbits.
No, all right.
And when I heard that line, I was like, oh no. Should we tell him?
Well, here's what I want to know. Who rebuilt the house? Did Goku rebuild that house? I mean, Grandpa Gohan couldn't have done it. He's been dead.
I could maybe see Goku doing it himself. It's just the box, right?
Yeah, but it has that really nice
craftsmanship
yeah,
going
it's
on.
got that Chinese rooftop
Mhm.
where it's like that pyramid style. I was like, wait. Monster came, trampled, he said, all the trees, Grandpa Gohan, and their house. And yet, the house still stands. Goku claims that he slept through the whole thing and says that the last thing he remembered was Grandpa Gohan telling him never, ever, 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 ever look at the full moon. But of course, he was a crazy old man. He said a lot of crazy things. The rest of the gang have already put two and two together and are cowering in the corner, trying to stay as far away from him as they can. They're trying to,
Like they figured it out as fast as I did.
Which is crazy, because Dragon Ball people are dumb. They're trying to know how they can find out for sure, and every time they cut back to Goku, they have this big-ass moon in the background just looming over him. They decide it's for the best not to risk it, and Bulma tells him not to look at the moon, and points directly at it. Bulma, honey, I know I give you a lot of shit for not thinking these things through, but I do like you. But for real, you know better. This is Goku we're talking about. Goku would have looked wherever you pointed, and you literally said, it's right above you while you were doing this. You were asking for this to happen. I guess, in the grand scheme of things, it works out for them in the end, but at this point, they're like, oh, we shouldn't risk this, and then immediately do it. Goku doesn't get what the big deal is, and everyone breathes a sigh of relief. It doesn't last. His eyes turn pink, and a thunderbolt snaps behind him, and you hear his heart beating louder and louder. He starts to twitch and bulk up considerably. He grows fangs, and he gets hairy all over. It's a real, like, werewolf-esque transformation. But
Yeah.
instead of turning into a wolf, he turns into a giant ape. He gets so big that he breaks the ceiling. This is the point where we see the entire castle shake, and we cut to Emperor Pilaf's bedroom, where Mai and Shu are also asleep in their own beds.
I was a little bit surprised that they shared a room like that, and I didn't see Pilaf. But who else would sleep in a bed that looks like that?
Like, it caught me so off guard, I just started laughing. Like, I had to pause the video. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh. And then you see them get up and you hear Shu saying, oh, I hate it when Pilaf starts snoring like this.
Yeah, the entire castle's shaking, and he's like, oh, I hate this. He snores so loud. Goku's now a fully grown ape monster, and he throws his arms out and he breaks some towers, which is the same exact shot from the intro, if you didn't notice.
I probably forgot, because I am one of those people who watch the intros once.
Man, you fucking ruin everything. No, during the intro, you get this shot of giant ape hands smashing things as everyone runs away, but the head of the monster is covered, so you don't get to see like what the monster looks like.
Oh, okay. Because I do remember seeing like some kind of monster punching a bunch of shit. That's about it.
And this is what...
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't realize that's how big it was gonna get.
Yeah, this ends the episode, and it's like, this is the cliffhanger to end all cliffhangers in Dragon Ball.
Yeah, and I like how the narrator is like, will Goku take responsibility for crushing his friends? You don't even see... After Goku transforms, you don't even see them.
No, they don't. I was like, oh wow, okay. I think if I had watched this when I was a little kid, I would have been like, oh my god, I have to watch. I have to see this next one. I don't think it's ever ended on such a intense note before. I wanted to know, Did you know that giant apes were a thing in Dragon Ball?
Not that giant. I thought it was gonna be like. I thought it was gonna be like Rajong from Monster Hunter.
Oh,
not like colossal King Kong versus
Mhm.
versus Godzilla.
So I saw that and I was like, oh, you know what? Phoup's knowledge of Dragon Ball is pretty like cultural osmosis-y, and they got rid of giant apes from like proper Dragon Ball pretty early on in the anime. So it didn't continue on into the more popular parts. And so it
Was
made me,
there a reason for that?
well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
There is a reason why Goku does not continuously turn into a giant monkey.
Okay.
But I guess like I wanted to know, like, did you know that Goku would eventually turn into a giant monkey?
uh,
'Cause-
not necessarily. No, I thought he only had the tail.
Okay, because there are several characters that transform into giant monkeys.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I thought. Wait, what? Goku's a Saiyan, right? That's like his race.
Mm-hmm.
Does all Saiyans turn into monkeys?
Well, if we decide to watch Dragon Ball Z, then those answers, or those questions will have answers.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming. Let's just
Let's just
let me ask
assume.
one more thing. Can they go Super Saiyan in their monkey form like Rajang gets angry? Rajang level 3 angry.
So the last Great Ape transformation in the original Dragon Ball Z series happens before Super Saiyan becomes a thing.
Okay.
But
Wait. You said in Dragon Ball Z or in Dragon Ball?
in Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, okay.
But in Dragon Ball GT, there is a Great Ape transformation that is a Super Saiyan, and he is a golden monkey man.
Okay, that's all I wanted to. Well, I hope to see a monkey doing Kamehameha one day.
I'm gonna look
Honestly,
something up.
I just cannot stop thinking about Rajang after watching this.
I'm gonna look something up real quick. Just one sec.
Okay.
Okay, so Dragon Ball GT aired in 1996.
Okay.
The final episode was in 1997. Dragon Ball GT is pretty short.
Okay, so it went on for about a year.
February to November.
Okay.
And this is where a Super Saiyan Great Ape appears, and that is far earlier than any Monster Hunter has a Rajang in it. I was just like, it's totally a callback to Dragon Ball in Monster Hunter. So I knew when we were going in and starting the show that the first arc would be one episode too long if we did 4 episodes per show. But I thought that this was such a good episode to end on. Like, I don't know about you, but I am pumped to watch the next set of episodes.
I'm ready. I want to see what the monkey's gonna do. Is the dragon still there? Is he about to fight the dragon?
Unfortunately, the dragon has gone away. He split up the balls. They're all over the earth again. Goku does not get to fight the dragon.
If I was Goku, I would collect all 7 Dragon Balls. The dragon would come down and be like, "What is your wish?" And the wish would be, "My wish is to kick your ass."
Oh my god, Phoup. Do we have to watch Dragon Ball GT?
Why? Do we have to? You made it sound bad when I was like, "What the hell's GT?"
It's clumsy. It's not very good, but it's got some like cool ideas poorly executed, and one of those is evil dragons, which Goku fights.
It's like, what's his name? Shenron's evil brother.
they all have different names. Like one's Sin Shenron, and another one's like Omega Shenron and
Oh, I
Nova
like that name.
Shenron.
I like those names.
Yeah,
Actually.
they're all like they all represent a different ball. Like, why are we talking about Dragon Ball GT on the Dragon Ball show? Just give me a second, okay? Just give me a fucking second.
Okay.
The plot of the Dragon Balls being evil is because Goku and friends have abused the power of the Dragon Balls without letting them rest. So like every time a Dragon Ball or they were able to make a wish on the Dragon Balls, they collect all the Dragon Balls and they make a wish. And they collect all the Dragon Balls and they kept doing that again and again and again, and like Shenron was like, "Bro, what the fuck?" And as like a failsafe, they defend themselves, but they're evil.
They just start coming throwing hands.
So I swear to God, like, I am 100% okay with Goku or Go Home continuing into Z, and hell, even doing GT if we wanted to. But that's a big commitment, and I don't know if that's something that you want to do. We can talk about it more later. I just want to let you know that yes, they do fight dragons. They don't necessarily look like this, but they do fight dragons. I think I'm going to regularly ask how you felt about this set of episodes, how you thought it compared from the ones that came before, and what you think is going to happen next. So I think this is going to be a regular segment coming in. So what'd you think of this one?
I thought it was really cool because we got to finally see like the finale of what these people were working towards, the world's best underwear. But I felt like it wasn't as like wild and like standards of like nudity and racism and provocative content, you know, like maybe there was Bulma flipping them off, but like, you know, that's not as bad as
I'll say Boss Rabbit's Magic Touch had quite a lot of caricatures.
I would say that. I liked it. I was just in denial during that fight because I was like, there's no way. Like, I had Bulma's mindset there because it just sounded so dumb. I was like, there's no way he just turned Bulma into a carrot. But the character itself, I thought it was pretty funny and cool. And I liked all the noises he made. It reminded me of like Bruce Lee whenever he was Bruce Lee.
Yeah, he would make all the kung fu noises and go, "Nya, nya."
Yeah.
Inspired choice, we'll call it.
But in a way, they did feel a little bit shorter as well in comparison from the previous one, because I felt like not much stuff happened in these, in terms of how fast
that's true.
They were like progressing.
The first set was
the first and second set. Yeah, the first and second set that we watched. It was hard. I probably should have taken notes. There was so many different fights in one episode. There was so many different remarks. Mm-hmm. So many more characters joining in. But like in this set, it was like starting to slow down towards the finale.
And yeah, it does feel like a finale. And there's going to be obviously Big Ape Goku in the next episode, and that finishes off this first arc.
Okay. So we're not like quite finished then with this arc.
Yeah, there's only one episode, but I thought this as a cliffhanger would be like, I can't wait to watch the next one.
I want to see Goku fuck some shit up in monkey form, and then come back and be like, Grandpa Gohan?
Oh wow, I can't believe all my friends are dead and trampled as well. Crazy how that worked. Guess I'm going home.
I gotta get all 7 Dragon Balls so I can wish for that monster to show up so I can beat the shit out of him for what he did to my grandpa and my friends.
I want to say Goku never learns that it was him.
Really?
Not until Z, I think.
Was he heartbroken? Or was
My
he?
brain's a little foggy on this one because Dragon Ball Z is much longer than Dragon Ball, and that's why I'm hesitant to say like, oh, let's jump into it. But I want to say he sees another one of the great apes, and he goes, "Oh, wait a minute! That's just like the monster that killed my grandpa. Oh, wait, but if he could do that, then that means that I could have done that. And damn it! Damn it! It was me."
No.
But he didn't have time to worry about it because a giant monster monkey was fighting him.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts that you had on this set, or?
Well, I hope to see the dragon again soon. I hope Shu gets his wish eventually.
his wish for one of them bones.
I just hope Shu wins one of these days. I mean, you could say that Shu technically won. He got most of the Dragon Balls in the end.
Yeah, Shu took a win today.
Yeah, Shu took a win.
Yeah, I'll take it.
But my final thoughts, I'm glad that we are kind of like ending it on the wish and kicking it off with like 0. We went from like 0 to 100, 100 to 0, and we're already back to 100 because of Goku.
Yeah. If they didn't have Goku look at that moon, they would have been dead by morning. So yeah, we're back in it, baby.
So is this where we say our goodbyes?
Next time we'll be watching episodes 13 through 16, which is The Legend of Goku, and ends with Find That Stone, which doesn't tell you anything about where the story's going.
Could be a giant goose chase.
Could be. That being said, like I had said earlier, you'll have to wait 2 weeks because I will be visiting my parents for Thanksgiving, and I won't be able to record that week. I will also be 1 year older. And don't you think that it's crazy? I keep getting older, but you still stay a wee little baby. Look at you, just a wee little baby.
Oh, don't worry. I'll start deteriorating myself anytime soon.
I remember there was one time that you would cut your hair real short and you would show it off your hairline.
Oh yeah, it's like Kazuya from Tekken 7.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh, dude, it's just like Vegeta.
Oh no, it is like Vegeta too. It's long enough to measure his whole forehead with all 8 knuckles in his finger.
I just wanted to thank everyone again for watching. I continue to have a lot of fun doing this show. I hope you continue watching and having as much fun as I have making it. And I also hope that you all have a fantastic holiday. And I think that it's appropriate that I send all of you off with America's most well-known Thanksgiving season song.